Hey guys, and welcome back to Ellie Knows Rocks. Today I am out in the beautiful Stanton, Arizona on a private mining claim to look for gold today. I am standing in a pit that they have been working on for months, and I met a wonderful human being. His name is Ike, and he has given me permission today to come out here and dig to my little heart's content. So me and the world's smallest drywasher are going to see just how much gold we can find today. So thank you all so much for being part of my adventure, and let's go see what we find.
Welcome to Stanton, Arizona, home of Potato Hill and the historical Octave Mine. Stanton goes way back in Arizona's history as having huge gold nuggets, the size of potatoes. Miners claimed they found them just rolling right out of the hill and they could pick them up and put them in their pockets. Ever since, claims have been taken in this area for local prospectors as well as out-of-towners to try and strike it rich.
Okay, so I am about to drive down to go see the hole that I will be digging out of to try to find some gold. So I'm super excited about this. Ike is awesome, and he is traveling down in his four-wheeler to go show me this awesome spot on his claim. So here we go.
This placer mining area is known for its rich stream beds and fluvial systems, as well as hitting hardpan, that caliche white layer. All of these areas add up to rich deposits of gold. Now we're about to head down to an area that they've been finding some pretty rich pay dirt, and I'm as prepared as I can be in my little Jeep. I started off digging in the red dirt just for my curiosity, wondering if the iron makes a difference. And they have been working on this hole right here, trying to get down to hardpan, and they still haven't found it. They have a small operation, but they got a pretty big grizzly up there to get rid of some of these rocks, and I was able to back my Jeep right into this beautiful road that they had made. At least it made it easy for me to unload my equipment. Now this part of mining is pretty typical. I go up on the hill, I fill up a bucket, and then I'm hand screeding it. This is not the most fun. But sometimes you just have to get your hands extra dirty if you want to find gold. And since I was waiting for a classifier to be made, I was hand screeding and classifying to a bucket. Now let's talk a little bit about the history of Stanton. Stanton, although semi a ghost town, is still a populated place and is located in Yavapai County, Arizona. It is used now by the LDMA as an RV park and a recreational park for members only about 6 months out of the year. The town was originally a stagecoach stop known as Antelope Station, and was later named Stanton after the businessman and crook Chuck Stanton, who took over the town in 1870. Stanton is located approximately 20 miles north of Wickenburg, Arizona, and is at the base of Rich Hill, and next to the ghost towns of Octave and Weaver. Now before I continue on with the story about Stanton, I did want to let you guys know that after I was done screening my dirt here, I had to let it dry out a little bit because it was a little bit more damp than anticipated digging in the side of the hill, and you really can't run damp dirt through a dry washer. It gums it up and clogs it. After I was done here, Ike took me back along a wash to show me how much damage a monsoon can do in this area. That thing in the wash is actually an old trommel that was used historically in this area. It had gotten ripped up, torn apart, and pushed downstream just by the rocks of the monsoon itself. Now to continue. The town of Stanton, like the towns of Octave and Weaver, owe their existence to a group of pioneers who discovered gold in the area in 1863. Led by a frontiersman, Pauline Weaver, which I'm probably saying his name wrong, the explorers camped along Antelope Creek when one of the men, a tracker, decided to chase a runaway burro up a hill. After climbing to the top of the hill, which would be known as Rich Hill, he tripped over a pile of gold that he claimed were the size of potatoes. Soon after, Weaver and his friend, Jack, found a pile of gold at the top of nearby Antelope Hill. Weaver said that the gold was so plentiful in the area that they could pop out nuggets with a knife, and that 1 acre yielded nearly $500,000 in gold. The 1863 strike transformed Antelope Station into a boomtown overnight. Originally just a small stage stop, by 1868, Antelope Station supported a population of 3,500 people. Once Stanton arrived, he didn't waste any time recruiting some Mexican bandits so he could help wipe out the competition. His first 2 victims were his neighbors, who he tricked into killing each other over some pigs. After that, he used his Mexican bandits to forcibly run people out or kill them just so that he could take over their businesses. Part of this story also includes the Martin family massacre, which Stanton was arrested for their murders. But due to the testimony of some false witnesses, the charges were dropped, and Stanton was let go. However, Stanton was then killed by a Mexican gunman. So, I guess what goes around comes around. Even though Stanton died, the town continued to thrive. But it was still considered a really deadly place to live. In 1892, for example, the Prescott newspaper reported the residents of Stanton liked to drink blood, eat fried rattlesnake, fight mountain lions, and do a bunch of other crazy stuff. But nevertheless, the town stayed very populated. By 1890, Stanton was a legitimate community filled with miners and their families, as well as a general store, a stamp mill, a hotel, a boarding house, and several other associated buildings. However, it didn't survive for much longer. By 1905, the gold in the area was just about gone. And in that same year, the Stanton post office was officially closed for good, and the town was abandoned. In the 1950s, the Saturday Evening Post purchased the 10-acre town and then gave it away in a jingle contest. The new owner didn't know what to do with the town, and later sold it. It remained uninhabited until the late 1960s, when hippies moved in and started burning the old wood buildings for firewood. In 1976, the Lost Dutchman Mining Association, also known as the LDMA, acquired the property and has since used it as a members-only recreational park, which is open 6 months out of the year. The LDMA restored a few of the buildings, including Chuck Stanton's store, the old saloon, the dance hall, the hotel, and the jail, which is also still standing. There's also some work being done to restore the town's pioneer cemeteries. Stanton is listed as one of the ghost towns in Arizona. Although privately owned by the LDMA, you can go in there on certain occasions when it is open to the public to view the ghost town. Or you can become a member of the LDMA yourself. I am not a member, but I have friends that are, and they often invite me to this area so that I can check it out. If you would like to read more about Stanton, you can go to Wikipedia, or you can look up Stanton, Arizona online, and it gives you all this information. I'm not a genius. I had to go look it up. Now that I'm done doing most of the hard work, I'm running my dirt from the tray through another screen just to see if I have any pickers. In total, I did 17 buckets worth of dirt running it through my little bitty dry washer. I did 3.5 buckets of the red iron dirt that I got out of the side of the hill that was damp that I had to let dry, and roughly 14 buckets of dirt that had already been grizzlied, screened, and then we ran it through that giant shaker tray. Yes, believe me, I could have bucketed and used my little screen to do all 17 buckets, but it was really great to have the help of a backhoe and a gigantic shaker tray. And unfortunately, I didn't find any pickers. But yes, I did separate the dirt that I had gotten, those 3 buckets of red dirt, from the dirt that I had gotten from a different area from Ike. Now, here in a second, you're about to see me freak out over seeing gold in Ike's homemade waterfall sluice. And this is just after only 3 buckets of the red dirt.
Oh!
Gold? More?
I got some! Yes!
Yeah, you got some.
Now, Ike let me in on a few of his secrets for making this really awesome waterfall here with a recirculating pump. Because in the desert, you gotta bring out your own water to do anything. So I think I got a handle on it, and I am definitely gonna try to make one all on my own. After we do this section of it though, you have to take out each one of those trays and wash them out and then pan the gold down. Panning the gold out after doing this was super simple. Most of the crap was already gone, and all you had to do was pan out gold real easy with black sand. And this is what I got after 3 buckets of dirt. Now it's time to work on the trays from those 14 buckets of dirt to see what I grab from those. So I already did all of the screeding, I ran it through the waterfall, and now I'm cleaning out the waterfall riffle trays to put in my pan so that I can pan it down further. And for me, panning is a little bit tedious. I take it super slow because I don't want to mess anything up and I don't want to lose any gold. Everybody says you can't be afraid to lose gold, but I'm still afraid to lose gold. Even as much jet dry or dish soap that I put in the water, I'm still afraid that it's going to float off if I'm not panning it correctly, so I do it a little slower than most people. Even though this was all going fine and well, one of the bummer parts about ending of this trip, after I got home, I looked at my dry washer. I knew that it wasn't making as much vibration as it should have with as much air as I was putting through it with the blower. And it turns out I had broken the bearings on my fan, so my fan was barely moving in my dry washer, which meant I got a lot more surfboarding than I had actually wanted to do, which means less recovery of gold. Even though the town of Stanton was abandoned because everybody thought the gold was gone, that was just the really easy visible gold. That's what they wanted. They dug into the side of the hill with the octave mine, or they were picking at rocks on the side of a hill, at Rich Hill, grabbing that potato gold, but nobody was doing the small stuff. A lot of the small panning is where you find some really nice gold. And every little bit counts and adds up. And now I'm about to show you my color. And of course, I was freaking out. And remember, this is only from 14 buckets on a dry washer that had a broken fan. I was super proud of what I found, especially since I bruised my arm, my leg, and hit my knee. And here's what I got after I dried it all out. We believe I would have gotten a lot more if my fan hadn't have been broken.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really hope that you had fun and thought it was cool finding gold in this beautiful area, and I will see you guys on the next one.